All right, and welcome in, everybody. This is Wagers on Campus College Football Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in and checking us out. We really appreciate you. And today, me and Xander and I are going to be breaking down the AAC football conference for the 2025 upcoming college football season. Once again, thanks for checking us out. This is Mayor, and I am here with Burns. Xander, we just got done breaking down the Mountain West Conference. What's on your mind as we're going to talk AAC football today?
Hello. What's on my mind? Oh, it's Blake Horvath, of course. The possibility of a academy team running the table. Oh, triple option hoisting the national title. Man, that would be so sweet. Other than that, no, man, I'm breaking down the AAC is interesting for those AAC nuts. It feels like one of the least passionate conferences. Very happy that both academies have a conference now, second year in it, but this is definitely a down conference from years past.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, last year we were treated to a pretty interesting, I would say, top of this conference between the success story with Navy and Tulane always seemingly being competitive, and teams like Memphis and North Texas and Army in the mix. This year we have USF with a quarterback who has high expectations and a team that is looking to rebound. Of course, we've seen UTSA have plenty of success in years past, and East Carolina, has had some good years as well. So, hey, anything can happen, especially when Trent Dilfer was once in your conference. So,
He still
let's
is.
go. Yeah, I was just testing you. Trent Dilfer, UAB head coach.
Yeah,
Burns.
I mean, I think he's very firmly on the hot seat this year.
I would agree. Burns, do you know the best NFL player to ever go to UAB?
No.
Roddy White.
Wow.
Yep.
That's it?
The Packers drafted a tight end from there, but he wasn't in the league very long. I mean,
Sure.
you got to remember the Blazers didn't have a football program for a number of years.
Yeah, just a couple of years ago.
Right. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to diving in and talking this conference. But before we do, what did you want to cover?
Listen, when we talk about the AAC, there's actually been a big-time breaking news happened this week. The BYJew is now a BYJew. And that's my interpretation of Bayou. Maybe Bayou Jew, but that's just throwing Jew on the end of the word. Anyway, Jake Retzlaff has committed to Tulane. This is major news. Not going through the transfer portal. He'll be technically walking on and competing for the job ASAP. So he is at Tulane. This is big news. Big news. It's Tulane. Their biggest issue was losing the Mensa and having to replace him with question marks. So this is huge for that program that was already pretty stacked everywhere else.
Well, there'll be plenty of women for Retzlaff in New Orleans.
Oh, easy, bud.
That's a great pickup for Tulane. Wow. When did that news break?
I think Tuesday or Monday.
Wow.
Yeah, you were too busy tasting all the wines around the world at Epcot.
Yeah, I was. But no wine, Burns. Just a couple beers and
okay.
Japanese sake. So
Nice. A couple Hefeweizens and
precisely avocado margarita in Mexico.
oh boy.
Don't knock it till you try it. It was delicious.
Yeah, that's fair.
$19. It better be.
Yeah.
That's a great pickup for Tulane. Do you think that instantly makes them the favorite to win the conference?
Yes, because I've been big on Navy. We'll see though. Like he fit in very well at BYU, but he wasn't like he's a good quarterback. He's not like I don't want to overhype this saying this is like a sure thing. This is now Boise State, like we just covered, a runaway who's going to be second. Like he's got to find the system. Like BYU had a great system for him. He's not like the strongest passer, but he's definitely no like Alex Orji or Calandria. Like he's an elite player for this level. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, he might not win the Heisman, but he's a damn good quarterback, and he's going to elevate the program big time.
Yeah, I called Calandria Timu Manziel. Retzlaff might be like Amazon Basics Manziel, like a step up. He's almost there, but not quite.
Yeah, I mean, he's had to face tough schools. He stepped up in some really big moments throughout his career. Obviously, BYU had an unbelievable season last year. This is a guy who's used to being in the spotlight, a guy who has played very well in some big games, and now he gets to go to a program that is away from probably a lot of noise that he has had in his life over the last several months and into a conference where theoretically he should have an easier time of having success because he's going to be going up against a lesser competition after being at BYU.
For sure. Yep. So that's huge. Hopefully the guy's been working out, not just been sitting on his couch waiting for see if he was going to even play this season. Second, for this specific conference, what do you think about this? Now that, and this could come and go and they could just fade into where they've been. But the last couple of years, Bryson Daly at Army, Air Force had a pretty good team 2 years ago. And then Blake Horvath now in his era at Navy. It's really that Army-Navy game is posing quite an inconvenience now that they're in a full conference and there could be a conference title game. So I heard someone bring this up on this podcast I was listening to. They said, why not move Army-Navy to week 0? What are your thoughts on that? Because when he said that, I was like, oh, hold on. That would make week 0 interesting.
It would. It definitely would. Now, as someone who likes that tradition late in the season, looking at people blowing their hands, with the cold air coming up, it just has a classic feel. But in terms of the current dilemma that we're dealing with, Burns, when they play that game, doesn't that kind of get in the way of everything as far as conference championships go?
It's the week after conference championships. So
Got it.
Yeah.
So everything is already settled. It's just a preseason game.
Pretty much. But it counts towards the regular season. I don't know. The fact that they're actually contenders now in the playoff picture, it's a conversation that needs to be had, whether or not it's week 0 or not. But that's going to have to be moved to the forefront, or they're going to cancel it and make it all the marbles. Like if Army and Navy meet in the conference championship, I'd imagine they'd cancel the one that was supposed to be the week after.
Agreed. Yes, I think the game needs to be moved because at its current format, it does not make sense and it is not cohesive whatsoever is the short answer.
Yeah. I think week 0 would be good. I mean, we just talked about it at the head of last show. Week 0 not having any umph. I mean, sure, this country is football obsessed, and we're going to watch a 6-9 Army-Navy game
Whoa.
in the or 11-10 or whatever that final was 2 years ago to get us over the over with the safety ending the game.
Yeah.
I mean, people are going to watch that. You know, it's different football than people normally want to watch, but it's the only one on. And everyone has an interest in Army Navy. You put that in week 0, immediately week 0 has more interest.
For sure. But like college football knows what they're doing with this week 0 nonsense in terms of not making it like a real week. And I don't know what their strategy is behind that, but they've had so many opportunities to make it better, and they just won't do it.
Yeah, for sure. The last thing, Memphis, you probably didn't see this either. They were rejected by the Big 12. They offered $200 million, no strings, to enter the Big 12, and they got rejected. Seems like the backup plan is the ACC now. Memphis already turned down the Pac-12, but I think this was a bad move by the Big 12. I think getting Memphis on board in a Power 4 with the money they have backing them and a very football-friendly town and an opportunity to embarrass the other Tennessee team in the States in your conference, I don't really see how this could have gone poorly for the Big 12 by letting Memphis in.
I would have to agree. Memphis has been a pretty respectable football program over the years, and I don't know if that would have included basketball as well, but they have a very good basketball program there too. So on the surface, I would have to agree. I would be curious to know the reason why they got rejected, if it was academics related or what the deal is.
Well, I think football, they don't really view academics. You look at the SEC, low-hanging fruit there. But, I mean, no, they are finishing up a renovation, over $200 million renovation to their stadium. So it's not anything to do with facilities. Listen, they've won double-digit games multiple times the last couple of years. They've been to a bowl for like 10 straight seasons. I mean, it's not the program. It's that I don't know what the Big 12 is trying to do. Maybe they're trying to land bigger fish, but this seems like something that might not be done. I like Memphis to the Big 12.
Maybe they just have a rule. Teams east of the Mississippi, not allowed.
Yeah, that might be it, actually. All right. AAC time?
Yeah, let's dive into it.
Sweet. So, for our AAC conference preseason award winners, it's no surprise who the MVP is.
It's a nice picture.
Thank you. And the offensive player of the year. You know, usually am not mixing this with quarterbacks. You know, like to see more than just throwing the ball. But damn, can this boy do it all? I mean, brought back a passing attack to Navy last year. Only had 1,250 yards, but 7 yards per clip. He still had 17 touchdowns passing to one interception. The boy doesn't turn the ball over. And then on top of that, when we look at his – that was rushing. I'm sorry.
You're good.
What am I doing? That was his rushing stats.
So he ran for over 1,200 yards, average 7 yards an attempt.
17 touchdowns. Passing, 1,400 yards passing, 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. So close to 3,000 yards total, 30 touchdowns, 4 turnovers. I mean, he was averaging, 17 yards of completion, Alex. I mean, this kid he's special. He's special. And they're returning a lot of their backfield. They're returning a good amount on their defense. Army had a little bit of a stronger defense, but in a week down AAC, I think there's two games that are going to be on the schedule that we'll talk about that really stick out in deciding where this team's playing in late December.
Yeah. Do you think Horvath had opportunities to go elsewhere for, more?
Oh, I'm sure. I haven't really seen anything. Haven't dug too deep in the message boards, but yeah. Listen, I think some of these kids are just very committed to their country and their goals and what they want to be outside of football. I don't think there's a next level for this kid. I just think he's a really, really good college football quarterback and looks to have a successful career in the Navy.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we just talked about Retzlaff. Do we need to dive into any of his stats, or just kind of speaks for itself on what he was able to do at BYU last year?
Yeah, I feel like we've already covered him pretty thoroughly. So he's a good player, and it'll be really fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure. And then a bit of a stretch here for my defensive player of the year coming into the season. I mean, if it's going to be from Army, you have to kind of wonder, what the conference is looking like as a whole. But especially as a safety, this Larkin kid, hard hitter, smart, just field general. 4 interceptions last year. I believe he was 4th when it came to PBUs. No, 3rd pass breakups. And also, he's still going in there and getting 7 tackles for a loss. I mean, the guy is a disruptor. He's just a badger at that position. I like watching this Army team play ball.
As do I. Them and Tulane have been Tulane has had a pretty good defense over these last couple of years as well.
Yep. So when we look at our all-conference team, one second.
Yep.
Judas. Thought it was an actual problem, but the one dog is eating out of the other dog's food bowl. Sydney calls me, says, I think we're going to have a problem down here.
Hope not.
Just yell at the dog. Just shoo it away.
Right. What are you calling me for?
Yeah. It made it seem like you were about to, hey, end the podcast. We got to go to the hospital or something.
Right.
The bat line's for emergencies only. All right. Anyway, back to business. Sorry about that, folks. First team. O-line is harbored with Academy boys. 2 Navy, 2 Army. But UTSA well represented here, especially at the skill positions. Devin McCoy, Robert Henry, huge returning season. Just an unbelievable talent. And then Houston Thomas at tight end. They're going to be an offense that really just needs just like a middle-of-the-road defense, and we'll talk about that team. But when we look at this conference, I think 2 teams stand out above all else. It's Navy and Tulane. So we're going to go through each team's schedule like we did for the Mountain West instead of last week when we just went through the entire conference. So let's start with Navy first. They're top of mind.
Yeah, Navy opening up the year with a win against VMI, and then week 2 they host UAB. We got Navy winning that one. Week 3 on the road at Tulsa, Navy gets the dub. Bye week, and then they're at home against Rice, win. Home against Air Force, win. At Temple, win. Bye week, host Florida Atlantic, they win that one. And then in week 10, this was a tricky game for them last season at North Texas. I believe they won something like 14-6,
Yep.
if I remember right.
And you have to wonder, look ahead spot. I mean, they really should be 7-0. The only hiccup I see here is Air Force, where Air Force is stronger than we are predicting. And of course, they're two styles that clash with each other. And when the academies get together, anything can happen. But other than that, they should easily have 6 other wins.
Yep.
Still think they get it done heading into Notre Dame undefeated.
All right, so we got them beating North Texas and then at Notre Dame. I think we got to go Notre Dame.
I think we were all sitting around watching Notre Dame versus Navy last year. I think the spread got down to 13.5, maybe 14.5, and it was 28-0 in the first 16 minutes of the game.
Blink of an eye.
And everyone is just, why are we so stupid thinking it would? Yeah. I don't know if I think Horvath's a good enough talent to keep it closer this year, but we'll see. That spread might be a little bigger.
For sure. Week 12, hosting South Florida. We'll go Navy. Bye week, and then they're at Memphis.
Man, what do we think?
I mean, I would go Memphis. I know you have a crush on Navy, so.
Let's go Memphis. I think Navy beats Army.
All right.
So that puts us at 10-2, 8-1 in the conference. I mean, that should comfortably put them into the conference championship game. Their over-under win total is 8.5. Already released that on the show. It's one of my favorite bets of the year. Navy over 8.5. It's just they avoid Tulane. They avoid UTSA.
Yep.
So, all right. Back to our all-conference teams. So when we look, the other teams that we wanted to point out, Memphis, just hog mollies. Shout out to Jeff Myers, who graduated with at Toledo, who's working with the offensive line at Memphis. Great guy. All around, just awesome guy. Great player, too. And on top of that, listen, they are replacing a lot of offensive talent, but they're leading the conference in transfer rank, and they're leading the conference in recruiting rank. I mean, they by far and away have the most money to spend. So they should be number one in recruiting as long as they're in the AAC every year. But the downside is that returning production-wise, this team is 13th out of 14 when it comes to returning production. So a lot of new faces, a lot of new production needed from talented players. So let's look at their schedule, and then we'll do UTSA next.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, as far as Memphis goes, I don't know if you felt the same way. I kind of felt like last year that they did not meet their expectations.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's only one thing, though, that I'm interested to see if this is skewed more in the transfer era, just from how many people are moving. But Memphis last year was plus 18 in turnover differential. And another Phil Steele nugget is over the last 20 years, a team that's above plus 14, the next season is 86% likely to have same or fewer wins the next season.
Definitely. That is interesting. And Memphis loses longtime quarterback Seth Hennigan, who is a veteran presence for that team. He's now in the NFL. So big transition year for the Tigers. They open up their season hosting Chattanooga. We're going to give Memphis a win there. And then in week 2, they are at Georgia State. We'll go Memphis. Week 3 at Troy. All right. You're quick with that trigger. You like Memphis to win that one. All right.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Troy, just not a shock the world type team.
Yeah. Week 4, hosting Arkansas. I think I got to go Arkansas.
Yeah, that's interesting. This could be the straw that breaks the camel's back. If Arkansas loses that game, could be time for a full revamp, is what I'm saying.
Yep. Week 5, Memphis at Florida Atlantic. We'll go Memphis. Week 6, hosting Tulsa. We'll go Memphis. Bye week. And then week 8, Memphis at UAB. We got Memphis winning that one. Week 9, South Florida at Memphis.
Upset. I feel like South Florida is going to be pesky all year.
They will be, especially after a disappointing year last year. And they're getting the quarterback back. Week 10, Memphis at Rice. Rice always stinks, so we got to go Memphis.
Yeah, but remember, they're rolling out the triple option this year.
I feel like that's going to be – I feel like you're going to clip that in Week 10 when Rice pulls the upset. Remember, they're pulling the triple option.
I mean, you're coming off a tough loss at home, and then you got 5 days to prepare for a triple option. That's brutal. And then the biggest game of their season, one of the two of the last 3 weeks. So you got Tulane at home.
No, give me Tulane.
Yep. East Carolina.
We'll go East Carolina.
No, you're not serious.
Dead ass.
You're dead ass.
It's football, baby.
You're dead assing me, and then they beat Navy. What is this Jekyll and Hyde team? 8-4. 8.5. 8.5 win total.
Oof.
I mean, they could beat East Carolina. I mean, they could lose to Rice, like I said. They could beat Arkansas. I mean, this team could be undefeated, and they could be a 6-loss team.
I think I like the under based on just everything that we've talked about so far.
Yeah. Yep. You might be trending the right way. UTSA is up next. Jeff Traylor, UTSA. He's got this offense humming, but damn, they could not stop a fucking nosebleed on defense last year. They just need anything to fire back some sort of competitive advantage. I think they can get it done, and they have a pretty favorable schedule too.
Yeah. Who is that longtime quarterback, the lefty quarterback, Harris?
Yeah, he's gone. Frank Harris is finally gone.
Yeah. He was gone last year, right?
I think he was there. The Rocky Lombardi, who might be Logan Fife, is the honorary Rocky Lombardi journeyman, nobody quarterback, play for 7 years award winner of 2025.
UTSA at Texas A&M to start the year. That's a loss.
Got Owen McCown at the helm, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
One of the boys.
Yep.
I saw Josh play for the Bears in a Monday Night Football game at Lambeau Field, and he lit the Packers up. Week 1, we got Texas A&M beating UTSA. If you want to click on the schedule, Burns.
Yep.
Week 2, we have Texas State at UTSA. Who do you like?
Man, it's turned into a big rivalry, big time blowout last year. I like UTSA.
Okay. They're going to beat Incarnate Ward in week 3. We got them beating Colorado State on the road in week 4, bye week, and then they're at Temple week 6. We like UTSA. Host Rice, that's a win. Then at North Texas.
I like UTSA here.
Okay. Another bye week, and then they come home and host Tulane. I got a feeling if UTSA is having this type of season, you like them to beat Tulane.
Man, I don't know. With Retzlaff, I like Tulane to get this done. That's a huge addition to get them over what I thought would be maybe a coin flip game.
Sure. Next week, they're at South Florida.
Man, another coin flip. I think UTSA might be able to get it done off a loss, but we'll see. You make the call.
We can go UTSA for that one. Week 12 at Charlotte. We got them winning.
Charlotte, yep.
Week 13 at home against East Carolina. We got them winning. And then week 14 hosting Army. we have them winning.
10-2. Yeah, I think that's pretty right. They're over or under 7.5 and win the conference is 6-1. Listen, man, they're returning second most production in the conference, and then 7th and 8th in recruiting and transfer ranking in the conference, respectively. I mean, I think that's enough compliments for the amount that you're returning to really push yourself to be a competitor for the conference title in this league.
Yeah, sure. How do you feel about their quarterback situation?
Yeah, McCown, he's a good player. Definitely top half of the league quarterback when you have a 14-team league. I think with all the offensive weapons that we just showed, I mean, 3 first-team all-conference, I think he's set up to succeed.
Sure.
All right. Well, why not talk about your South Florida Bulls, Mayor? I got so many teams. You got to talk about some of yours.
Yeah, Alex Golish at the helm had a really good 2023. Expectations were high in 2024. If you remember, to start the year, they played close against Alabama until the wheels fell off midway through the fourth quarter. But that was a really tight game for a while, and they hung around with Miami too for a while, at least in the first half, early on in the season, until the wheels kind of fell off in that one too. And then conference play was an absolute disaster for this team. Their quarterback got hurt. He missed most of the season. That's Byron Brown. And the rest of the team did not respond well to the adversity that was hit for them throughout the year. So this is a big bounce back spot for South Florida. At least that's what they're hoping to do as we go into this season. And they start their season week 1 hosting Boise State. What better way to kick things off than hosting Boise State? We got Boise winning this one, but that's a tricky game. I wouldn't be shocked if South Florida pulled off an upset, but Boise is probably too veteran led and just too esteemed. Week 2, South Florida at Florida. Oof. That is a brutal first 2 games to start your season. And if you thought it ended, you are sadly mistaken, because then they play at Miami in week 3. So South Florida, quick 0-3 start to their season is likely. Week 4, they're at home against South Carolina State. We got them winning that one. Then they get a much-deserved bye week. Host Charlotte, we got them winning that game. And then week 7, they're at North Texas. At this point, the South Florida team might start to feel like they have some momentum. So we're going to give them a win there. Week 8, host Florida Atlantic. We got them winning that one. Week 9 at Memphis, got them winning that one. Then they got a bye in week 10. They come home. Huge game against UTSA. We have them dropping that game. Week 12 at Navy. We got Navy. Week 13 at UAB. We'll go with South Florida there. And then week 14 hosting Rice. We'll go South Florida. So really tough schedule for this squad. We have them finishing 7-5 overall. However, a very respectable 6-2 in conference play. And what is their over-under this year?
6.5. And listen, I know we're writing them off as 0-3 when we look at this schedule right here. Nothing set in stone. I really like this team's capability to win 1, if not 2 of those games. I could see them beating Miami with so much changing in Miami every single year. And obviously Boise just coming all the way across the country into some heat. That's just a funky week 1 game. I think Florida will safely beat them. I don't see that being the upset, but I could see them going 2-1. They return the most production in the conference, the second highest recruiting rank in the conference. I mean, they have a huge backing as well. And then 5th in the conference in transfer ranking. So they've got guys. Alex.
That's a really interesting stat about them being number 1 in returning production, if I heard you right.
Yeah. Yep.
Boy, I wonder what that line is for the Boise State game in week 1.
If we had a producer, they could definitely pull that up, because that's definitely got to be posted by now.
Yeah, I'm going to look it up while you pull up your next your next thing.
Okay, yeah, we skipped over Tulane, so we'll dive into Tulane next as one of the favorites in the conference. They've got a couple games circled, but this is a very viable team to make the college football playoff, especially with Retzlaff now. Did you find it?
Yep, the spread is 8.5. Boise State favorited.
Yeah, I really like that. Give me a touchdown at home with a hungry team.
Mm-hmm.
Your boys open up the season, Northwestern at Tulane.
Yeah, it's a tough way to open the year, but also a tough way to open the year for Tulane as well. I mean, to have to play a Big Ten team week one, Northwestern always has a good defense, it seems like. So I don't think Retzlaff was just going to settle in and everything's going to be perfect in that game. We can go either way here. I could see Northwestern pulling the upset. I could see Tulane scratching one by.
I like Tulane, South Alabama, and then the Mensa Bowl. Not the smartest person in the world, Mensa. Darian Mensa goes to Duke. They come back. They play at Tulane.
I got to go. Let's go Duke.
Yep, and then tough. They go at Ole Miss the next week.
Tough.
Yeah. Should get back against Tulsa and then a bye. And they should come out and they should beat East Carolina and Army. We have them already beating UTSA and Memphis. And then they'll cruise against Florida Atlantic, Temple, and Charlotte. They have a really easy end of the season right after playing two of their biggest games.
For sure.
So that puts them at 10-2 right there with UTSA, except that has them undefeated in the conference.
Yeah, I think their schedule sets up very nicely for them this season because to start the year, they're going to have challenges. Northwestern, that's a tough game. South Alabama might even be a little tricky. Duke, that game is going to be a charged up game. And then Ole Miss, that's a tough way to start your year, especially with a brand new quarterback who just transferred into your program over the summer, who's learning a new offense, who's learning new players. But the good news for them is that they get to play Tulsa in their first conference game of the year. Not to write off Tulsa, but they should win that game, and then they get a bye, and they can kind of hopefully settle in and find their groove as a team.
Yep, for sure. Next up, we should talk about Army. We're always question marks around just academy defenses, but Army is going to have a lot of people sprinkled on first, second, and third team. Obviously, my defensive player of the year, Casey Larkin at safety, and Andon Thomas, two strong returning players, and then Caleb Fortner as well, and then they're stacked on the O-line. So when we look at Army and what they're shaping up to be, it's going to be tough without Bryson Daly. Because that's just an incredible talent to come through the program. And their top running back transfers out to Arizona State. So what a switch. Serving your country to just serving tequila shots in Tempe.
Yeah, quite the change from New York to Tempe.
They'll beat Tarleton State to kick us off, but Kansas State week 2. Kansas State off a bye from Farmageddon week 0. Kansas State should win that game.
Mm-hmm.
Army should beat North Texas. I think East Carolina could beat Army. I'm a little worried about this Army team getting to a bowl.
Yeah.
They should be able to handle UAB and Charlotte. Those are two nice wins. And then Air Force versus Army. We already talked. I think Air Force is better than – I think Army's the worst of the three. They should beat Temple, though. New coaching staff. Temple's going to be down, but not out. I expect them to kind of be back in the next 2 years. Tulsa, interesting. This is for – they don't know it yet, but it's for a bowl game.
Tulsa can't lose them all, right? Let's go Tulsa.
Yeah. So Army 5-7. with a Vegas win total at 7.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And a 5-1 win the conference.
Interesting. I don't love how their schedule lines up for them. And honestly, I felt like we were, I don't know. I guess we were fair.
Kind of fair, yeah. Maybe Tulsa gets them to a bowl. But, yeah, I mean, all those losses, I don't really see them how they flip. Just too many strong teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. And then lastly, just covering we covered our third quarterback, Byron Brown, when he went to UCF. But we do want to highlight a few other players here, dudes that you need to know. London Montgomery, East Carolina, and Anthony Smith, just two stud athletes returning that should absolutely pop off. And like we just showed, kind of spark a few upsets for East Carolina. Could they beat NC State? Probably not. But they're going to beat Campbell. I think they're going to beat Coastal. And then Brigham Young without a quarterback, Eastern Carolina at home. I think they start off 4-1. What do you say?
Yeah. And they got two players on our first team all defense this year. So they got a couple guys on defense too.
Yep. They got guys. Tulsa, can't lose them all, but they'll lose this one. And then I think Temple and Charlotte might come close to losing them all. So East Carolina, we think 9-3.
Wow. Big year for the Pirates.
6.5 win total, 25-1 to win the conference. I mean, listen, 4th in recruiting rank this year. They're bringing back, a decent amount of players. Definitely have some turnover when it comes to returning production. But your boy, Caton Hauser, at the helm when it comes to quarterback. That's a name that's been around that house in Florida, or at least the in-laws' house before.
Yes. Didn't realize he was at East Carolina.
Yep.
Former Michigan State Spartan when they were running through that quarterback cycle a couple years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So, I mean, that's pretty strong, spotting 3 wins, or 2 wins, I should say. They need to get to 7. And then we'll cover North Texas next, who we don't really have much when it comes to the all-conference teams, but an incredible quarterback name, Reese Puffenbargner.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Puff that bar, Reese.
Jesus Christ. We already have them starting off 0-4, but they have a pretty favorable non-conference schedule.
Yeah, they should beat Lamar, and they're at Western Michigan.
They'll beat Western.
Okay.
I mean, Buckley is good. We'll talk about him more next week, but still need to see a little bit more out of Western.
And they host Washington State. That's a weird, interesting game.
Yeah.
What do you think?
You know what? I'm thinking that we totally forgot to cover the Pac-2 in the Mountain West, so we'll cover them next week.
Okay.
But Washington State, we'll talk about it, but, they brought in South Dakota State's head coach. He brought in a ton of players, Signetti situation from that FCS national championship winning team. We'll see how they perform on a FBS level. I think too early in the season, I think North Texas can hold on at home. High-powered offense.
Okay. Week 4, losing to Army. Week 5, they host South Alabama. We'll go with North Texas in that one. Then they got a bye. Then they host South Florida. We like South Florida. They host UTSA. We like UTSA. And then they are at Charlotte. We'll go North Texas in that one. And then they host Navy. We got Navy winning that one. And then they have a bye. And then they're on the road against UAB. Burns likes North Texas. I like UAB.
Okay.
And then we have North Texas at Rice. We like North Texas. And then week 14, North Texas over Temple to close the year.
I mean, that UAB would be an upset that might save Dilfer's career if he's still there. I mean, that's kind of what we're talking about and what will be a 3-score spread for sure.
Oh, wow. It's that bad?
Yeah, I would say so.
Interesting.
Yep. Before we move on, North Texas, 22-1 to win the conference. And now the remaining teams that we'll cover, no one has better than 151 to win the conference.
Well, we have North Texas finishing at 7-5 overall, 3-5 in the conference. What is their over/under?
6.5.
Interesting.
Yep. So might as well start. They're all crap from here. All over/under 4.5 or below. So FAU, listen, they're just kind of in a purgatory right now. It's tough to get up off the mats when you're kind of stuck in neutral. But, at least they are at least they got a new coaching change. And this is where the youngest coach, Kitley, I think 34. So inject that new lifeblood into Boca Raton. It needs some young blood in Boca. They're going to lose to Maryland. Let's be honest.
Probably.
Yep. Florida A&M, Florida International. I think that's back-to-back FAU wins.
Yeah.
They're going to lose to Memphis. I think Rice has to get a win. Triple option is going to be tough to stop. And then, battle of mediocrity, UAB, Florida Atlantic.
Oof. We'll go FAU.
At home, yeah. They're going to drop one to South Florida, to Navy. Tulsa's going to beat them. Tulane's going to beat them. I like Jay Mora and UConn and East Carolina. This team's 3-9.
All right. I could see it.
4.5 win total. Your boys UAB up next. We look at UAB with Dilfer. They're 4.5 win total as well. Listen, they've got – he's eligible. The case has been beaten, and he's down here definitely. Jalen Kitna, if you remember, we won't talk about it on this show, but just Google him.
Yep.
Ran into some trouble.
Yep.
But he's at the helm.
For UAB? Interesting.
Former Florida commit. I mean, the kid's got talent. So when we look at this team, we have a couple players on our all-conference team represented UAB. We've got running back Javon Johnson and Corey Milliner. When it comes to athletes, so Kitten is going to have some options. And then we have a few players like Eli Ennis on the defense, along with John Darius Morgan, represented with UAB. 4.5 is the number. They should beat Alabama State and then immediately lose to Navy. I have Akron up. I mean, Akron could beat this. I'm not sure how they do it on the road. I give it to UAB, but don't be surprised if Akron wins that game.
I agree.
Obviously, they're losing to Tennessee. We have them losing to Army, Florida Atlantic, and Memphis. UConn just playing their own AAC schedule.
Yeah.
Popping up a lot. UConn will win that game. Rice UAB, another toss-up. I think Rice can get another W here. Gets a weaker team. And then Tulsa should beat them. This team also 3-9. Dilfer's last season.
Yep. That's what it looks like based on our projections. What are they at? 4.5?
Yep. Yes, sir. Next up, let's just go to Rice. Rice attempting to just restart.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? It's going to be tough. We've got them with a couple wins in the conference already, so that's a start. But when they kick it off against the Raging Cajuns, we're very high on the Raging Cajuns on this program. And also, they're not going to beat Houston. They should handle Prairie View. And then it's going to come down in their win total. Can they beat Charlotte? Does Charlotte go winless?
No, I think Charlotte gets a win.
Okay, interesting. Because UConn will beat them, and that will put them at 3-9. Just a team, a conference full of 3-9 teams. Their win total is 3.5 as well.
Okay.
Another under.
Yep.
Okay. Temple.
Temple.
Yep. Temple is running into new coach Casey Keeler. Believe he was Jacksonville State's offensive coordinator. Sam Houston State's.
Keep an eye out for Jay Ducker, second team all-conference running back transfer, former NIU Husky, Jay Ducker.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, this team is not going to go defeated. I actually think they start off 2-0. I think they get wins at UMass and over Howard. Yeah, we've already spotted them 8 losses later in the year. They're going to lose to Oklahoma and they're going to lose to Georgia Tech.
Yep.
So the last 2 games, we have them losing to UTSA, Navy, Charlotte.
Let's go Temple.
And then they're going to lose to Tulsa, another 3-9 team. And rounding out the conference is going to be Charlotte, who's already 1-7. They're going to lose to App State. They open up with. They're going to lose to North Carolina. They should beat Monmouth, Rice, and then they go on a bye. They lose to South Florida, Army, Temple, North Texas, East Carolina, UTSA. After a 7-game skid, they get Georgia week 13.
Tough.
That's tough. And then Tulane to end the season. 2-10. We have them at the bottom of the conference. I think that's a pretty safe 2-10. Out of all those unders, we have the bottom 6 teams all going under. Wow. That can't possibly be true, Alex.
Right.
One of those teams is going to hit the over, right?
Apparently it's possible that all of them don't, because we just did
it. And then when it comes to who's representing the conference, we've got Tulane and Navy in the conference championship. Both 10-2. I imagine they'd both be ranked right in 18-19 range at the end of the season. Who do you like taking that conference championship?
Let's go Navy.
You think Navy?
Yeah.
I would have to disagree with you with the Retzlaff acquisition.
Sure. I totally understand that.
I really liked Navy before that, but I'm concerned, Mayor. I'm concerned. I'm glad I didn't place that Navy make the playoff ticket quite yet.
Yeah, you'll get better odds.
For sure. 18-1 to make the playoff. Tulane and Memphis both 8-1 to make the playoff. Yep. And then we're pretty high on UTSA, 18-1 as well. And then all those teams between 3 and 6-1 to win the conference.
Nice. So this conference really feels like you have 5 teams in Rice, UAB, Florida Atlantic, Temple, and Charlotte that have like 0 expectations, and then another 9 that could be frisky amongst each other.
Yeah, very top heavy for sure, but the top is well worth the popcorn and the price of admission, because there's going to be some good games that we talked about there at the top. So even though Navy avoids Tulane in the regular season, Tulane-Memphis should be really good. Same with UTSA. I'm looking forward to this conference top half. Not going to be tuning in that much to the bottom.
Yeah, for sure. Curious to see if Navy can, have as good of a season as they did last year, if not better. And Tulane has seemingly set a new standard for their football program. And with the addition of Retzlaff, I'm sure they're doing jumping jacks and cartwheels thinking that they can, be really, really good again this year. And then we'll see with some of these other schools, who maybe are looking to bounce back, like a UTSA or a South Florida, or maybe even like a Memphis who, maybe didn't meet expectations last year. So Totally agree with you, Burns. Especially the top half of this conference. There's going to be some really good and interesting games to tune into throughout the year.
Yep, couldn't agree more, and I'm really looking forward to that South Florida kickoff to the season. One of the harder starts to a season I can really ever remember with Boise, Florida, Miami. Obviously, the latter two are road games, but they could technically just take the bus to both of those, being right there in the same state. But that's the most interesting team to me in the conference. But I'll be watching every Blake Horvath snap for sure.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see how Tulane just kind of fares opening up their season against Northwestern, Duke, and Ole Miss. That is a really interesting schedule to start the season.
Yep. Just two, good call out there. Two very interesting schedules. And, man, next week we dig into the MAC and Pac-2.
Ooh.
And then we are our second episode next week will be the start of the Power Four, the Big 12, the solo conferences, really getting deep dives into it. So can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait either. We are getting closer and closer to college football. If you've made it this far, we really appreciate you checking us out, and we look forward to breaking down the additional conferences for you. And thanks for listening.
Bye. Love you.